One of the things I miss most about growing up in the 80s and the 90s is that there were public events for video games. Nowadays, what you have for public events is custom-owned arcade venues, tournaments, things like that. And they're pretty rare because arcades declined quite a bit since the 80s and 90s. They're all but dead here in America, and while they do flourish and thrive in Japan, it is a different story where I personally live. One of the things I wanted to talk about regarding that is that I feel a lot of these game companies are kind of getting screwed by local casual buyer bases. And what I mean by that is when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, whenever I went to a store, there would be arcades there, but there would also be these home console units. The Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, Game Boys, and they would have these custom tailor-made little areas where you could go on every place, and while your parents went shopping for groceries, you could go over to the toys and play through an entire video game while you're sitting there. It made you want to buy the game that you were playing. Now, I think demo units have kind of a lost charm, a lost art to them, because when I walk into places like Walmart and to most extents GameStops as well, I'll see that they do have some type of these stations sometimes for GameStop, but they won't have a demo unit set up. It'll usually be demoing a very specific set of games for a very specific set of time. I understand that you don't want the person playing the demo the whole time, i.e. you're playing through an entire game and hogging the machine while your parents go shopping, right? I get that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, would it be too much trouble to just pop in a new game every week to attract people to say, hey, look, this is what this game system is offering now. It's really cool. Check this out. You know, these stores, you'd think it would be the end of the world that they would take a hit on one game console, or these companies even, to supply every store with one game console every few years after that game console becomes outdated and stops working. You know, and the biggest thing is that when these places do have them, if they have them, I haven't even started laying into Walmart yet, but if they do have them, they're never taken care of properly. What is it? Is it like having your ear pulled and being forced to actually take a wet wipe and clean off the console at the end of the day? I mean, for God's sakes, man, it must be very difficult to do that, to let that console and that controller just get trashed because you never decide to clean it off. Buttons get sticky jammed up and you have to replace it, and then the console's put into a place where it's not very well ventilated. It's just astounding how a demo unit and how well taken care of and how it's displayed and what is playing and what you can do with it in your own hands before you purchase the product. It's astounding how quickly that can sell and help sell a console. And back in the day, they used to have these stations to the point where you could literally do just that, as I said before. And so it's really bothersome to me when I walk into a local Walmart and I go to the game section and they've literally got just an empty section where there would be Wii U's and Nintendo Switches for sale. Now you can make the argument, oh, Proto, I'm telling you, the Switch is doing good, so it's sold out and that's why there's none available. Okay, all right, jazz hands all day long. Yeah, but Proto, I get it. Cool, that's where you live. Where I live and all the Walmarts around me in a massive 45-minute circle, because I do go to several locations at different times, I promise you, I've walked into every one, checked this with my own two eyes, there are just chunks missing. Places won't sell the Wii U. I've gone to a Best Buy, I've gone to a Target, and I understand it's a product that's on its way out. But the thing is, how are you going to sell Wii U games and not the console itself? What if someone literally comes walking in and says, hey, I'd like to buy 4 or 5 Wii U games for my kid. I think they're old enough, and the Nintendo Switch doesn't really have a lot of games out right now. So I just want to buy a Wii U for now, and then like 6 months to a year down the road, I'll just buy them a Switch, you know? What do you say to them? Oh, I'm sorry, you know, we don't stock the Wii U anymore. You better go to GameStop. Yeah, we lost your business, but you know. Like, that's stupid. That's dumb. Why? I don't, that's what I'm from a business perspective, I literally have no idea why this is going on. It not only makes the product look bad, but it also makes you, as the person representing that store, look bad. Like, wow, you can't even keep the game console in stock to play the games. That would be like selling CDs but not selling the CD player. That would be like selling Blu-rays but not selling the Blu-ray player. Are you seeing what I'm saying? It's really ridiculous to see this stuff happening. And in the local Walmart I go and visit, I never see demo units, displays, or anything similar to that. And in most stores that I've ever been to, I don't see them anymore. I remember seeing the Dreamcast displayed, and it blew my mind that Sonic was in 3D, and I played the demo, and I was like, oh my god, I have to buy this game, because I played it. But I didn't ever see it before that point in time. Even though at the time there wasn't the best of internet, you know, there were magazines and stuff like that that you could reference it. And seeing and playing that game, the demo game, made me want to buy it. The same with Metroid Prime, the same with Yoshi's Island 2. I remember going to these demo kiosks and just playing this game and being like, man, this game is really cool. I definitely like to get it. And if I hadn't demoed them there, I don't know if I would have ever seen or wanted to play them in that kind of way, you know? Maybe I would have, maybe I wouldn't have. So it really is crazy to see that you have these spaces, you have these dedicated spaces to Nintendo, Xbox, Sony, and whatever else, third-party manufacturers, things like that. You have this massive space, but no one ever thinks, none of these companies think, hey, let's go give them 3 consoles, you know? Let's go give them those 3 consoles and let them demo them to kids, up-and-coming kids, so that the casual buyer, the person who walks into Walmart after getting his kids, after his work day, taking Johnny to get himself new PlayStation game, like, he doesn't know anything, and his kid doesn't really know a lot either. He's real young, you know? You have the casual buyer base there. They're not heavily informed. They're not in-depth, in-stock gamers. They just randomly buy games. Wouldn't it be real cool to have one of the newest, better-selling PlayStation 4 games demoing on that PS4, and then they can say, wow, that's a real cool game. Same with the Nintendo Switch. You know, why don't you have that demoing out, and they can say, wow, so this is how it works. This is amazing. You know, they host these events where you can go around and you can see this Xbox and you can experience it first. Experience the Xbox Scorpio first. But at the end of the day, if you just stuck them in the stores that you sell them in, people could experience them year-round, and they would say, hey man, have you tried out the Nintendo Switch? It's pretty cool. And you might get an increase in sale. I understand that the Nintendo Switch is doing well. It's selling well. Again, referencing earlier. But my point is that it could do even better. Pushing games into the mainstream, making games a casual market, more casual than it already is, may piss off a lot of hardcore gamers. I empathize with you. I am a hardcore gamer. I love buying video games. I love playing through them to the end. I play hours and hours of video games every week. I have a life. I do other things as well, but video games is a mainstay for me. Now, it would piss me off too if that hardcore mentality starts to creep into the games that I truly enjoy and it changes them. And I understand that, but a lot of people need to get past that point, and we need to start bridging the gap even more than what it's already been bridged. The FPS genre and market is there right now. That's bridged the gap. Every casual fan, every casual user, they play Grand Theft Auto 5, they play Call of Duty, they play Battlefield. Those are very casual games that a lot of people play. What we need to do is we need to bridge that gap for almost every game instead of just, you know, things like that. Things like MLB The Show, things like Forza, you know, these are standard default games, albeit very good. They are not the in-depth anime JRPGs with epic and interesting storylines. They're just not. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I would definitely like to see casual people getting into gaming a lot more like they did in the 80s and the 90s, instead of seeing it stagnate and just sit there like what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like games being produced to the point where they just recycle their old formula into a newer generation and don't do much until it becomes stale, like Call of Duty, or until it becomes stale like Mario and things like that. And then they have to break the paradigm and shift things to be a decent game like Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's interesting to see how gaming is now versus the 80s and the 90s, and I thought I would bring that up with what I saw today. I've been wanting to talk about that for a long time. Demo units. How do you feel about demo units? Do you think they are important to us? Do you think they are pretty useless? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. I've been your host, Protomario. I'm signing out. Please like and share this with everyone you know, and as always, good gaming and God bless. Thanks for listening to my rant.